Hey, it's Andy with the Fence Post Indie Music and Vinyl blog. I am out taking a walk in nature, and I had the urge to share a little bit about some bands that had a massive influence on me in my music journey in the 90s. Now, in the 90s, mid-90s to late 90s, I was a teenager, born 1980, so mid to late 90s was high school. Living in Vancouver, Washington, Portland didn't really have a independent radio station that you could get across the river. So my exploration was initially quite limited. In at number one, Smashing Pumpkins. Siamese Dream was hugely influential because it was really the first time that a new band was introduced to me. Prior to that, I had really just focused on listening to whatever my parents listened to. So when Siamese Dream came out and a friend was like, hey, you gotta check out this album, I was hooked. And then, take it up a notch, they came out with Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. And I talked a little bit about that in my story about how influential that album was. I'll have a link down in the description over to that video so you can take a look. Number two is going to go to Built to Spill. Shortly after my introduction to Smashing Pumpkins, my passion for new music and discovering new music started to grow, and it started to grow really fast. One of the bands that I got super excited about was Built to Spill. They had just signed to a major, but the release that they had at that time was so far-fetched from what you could expect from any kind of major label. That release was the album Perfect From Now On, and I could not get enough of it. To this day, it remains one of my desert island picks. Same year, they also released a compilation on K Records called The Normal Years, which included a ton of singles and B-sides that were released early in their career prior to being signed to the major. And that was the time when they would release records on K. I think they had one or two on Sub Pop, and they were on Up Records. Number three, when the Blue album originally came out, the song Buddy Holly, Undone, the Sweater Song, I mean, talk about nerdy rock and being a bespectacled nerd. It was right up my alley. I just loved it. The whole Buddy Holly song, when they dressed up on that video like they were from the 50s and just kind of had this upbeat track, it widened my interest once again. Number four is going to go to Portishead. Now, Portishead was so unlike anything I had ever heard. That kind of trip-hop sound, the beats, when you had Dummy, which was fucking phenomenal, but then you had their self-titled album, which had tracks like All Mine, and God, looking back, like, if Kink could be thrown into a song from the 90s, it would be All Mine. It is so good. The strings, the lyrics, it sounds so forward-thinking yet timeless all at the same time. 25 years later, it still blows my mind. Number five is going to have to be Radiohead. A band who can remake themselves time and time again, every single release. And they do it with just kind of this seemingly effortless ability. Tom York and crew, their first album was great. Pablo Honey, you know, when I added that to my collection, I was like, yeah, this is great. Then the Benz, which is the one that I still eludes me to this day. And OK Computer came out, and, you know, Paranoid Android, No Surprises. Oh, it continued on. It continued on through the 2000s. You know, when Kid A dropped in the year 2000, I know this is not, you know, 1990s, but still, I saw Tom York perform Idiotech on, I believe it was SNL. You know, every so often there are bands and songs that just so blow your mind that you're just left completely speechless the first time you hear a song, you know. And Idiotech was that for me. But it wasn't just that. It goes back further. Creep was that. Fake Plastic Trees. Street Spirit. Paranoid Android. No Surprises. Karma Police. Not only did they remake themselves time and time again, they did it in a way that kept you falling in love with the band over and over. It was insatiable. There you have it. 5 bands that greatly influenced me in the 1990s. Stay tuned for more lists like this, more vinyl record reviews, vinyl unboxing videos, and all of that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.